by now, Baron, then it doesn't really matter.
Well timed. Welcome to Business Technology, the show that has 99 views of episode 1. Tell someone to get one of your friends to watch episode 1. Please hit us to triple digits. So, welcome to the podcast, guys. I hope you're having a great week. Has it been 3 weeks since we recorded, or has it just been 2?
I have not been on the past 2. So, wow.
I know Hooper's been injured since then.
I did. Snowboarding accident. At my age, guys should not try to ride the rail.
Were you actually trying to ride a rail?
Yeah, I really was riding a rail. Yeah.
Did it look good?
It looked great until I did the 180 and I didn't catch my front foot on the rail. And I went head first into the snow. My goggles scraped my face and I came up bleeding. And of course I brushed myself.
Were you up in Massachusetts for that? You must have been.
I was in New Hampshire for that, but yeah, same thing. I mean, you know, New England is smaller than like most states, so we just it's acceptable to just say Boston, and that covers pretty much all of New England.
That's what I say when I was working in New Hampshire. I would say I was flying to Boston because most people, I don't know, I think everyone kind of has the same idea of what New England is.
Well, you know what's funny? It's like, so I've traveled globally, and I've said to people, where do you live? In Massachusetts? Oh, I don't know where that is. I said, Boston. Oh, yes.
We're terrible at geography. Americans, we're terrible at geography. Terrible at it, actually. My 5-year-old daughter, my 6-year-old daughter, Lucy, is definitely better at geography than I am because of the games that she plays. They're just built for kids. They don't make geography games for adults.
Strange.
No, they make GPS for adults.
Yeah.
So what have you guys been working on? What's going on in the industry? I really haven't been paying attention. What are your New Year's resolutions from an ITSM perspective? Go.
Oh, agile.
Yes.
Digital.
Love it.
Digitization. Lean and mean. I'm all about. So we've been doing our 2015 planning and strategy, and I am all about digitization, lean and mean, agility. Those are my.
What do you mean by that? What is digitization to you?
So if in any way it's not systems oriented, I don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have to open a spreadsheet here and open a spreadsheet here, or open an email to do anything, you've failed.
Yeah. Yeah. I think my focus is similar, just what we've talked about before, looking at incidents as a failure in and of themselves, on the design side, and sending it back so that just that whole process of providing manual support is eliminated. I'd like to focus a lot more on that.
I love it. So really, if you're in IT and you are making decisions, this is better than Gartner right here. These 2 goals right here, if you can accomplish these in 2015, you are a god of internet technology, or of information technology. I mean, really, you are.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's frustrating though, Baron, is we get excited at the beginning of the year to take on a new challenge. And, we lay out all these goals and aspirations. It is so hard to digitally enhance your goals. Like the best digitally enhanced goal today for most people is Excel.
Yeah, or a project plan or something.
Yeah, or Microsoft Project.
Mm-hmm.
Or a strategy, a roadmap.
Yeah, and that is like a complete failure. If you think about it, right? Your goal should be contextually aware. So every activity you do, it should be sensing and saying, well, that's actually not putting you closer to your goal, or wow, what you just did actually just moved you closer to your goal.
But I mean, isn't that basically what consulting is? Like, we've walked up this mountain enough times to know the path to get to the top. Right? I mean, isn't that what you're buying with experience? Isn't that why you hire people who have done this project before, or contractors that have done this project before?
Yes. That's why.
And I think
David Mainville and Consulting Portal used to have their marketing spiel was a tent, and they were the Sherpers, right, back in the day. Because not only did they know the path, but they knew the storms and what time the storms would set in on that path. So, you know, and if you think about it, it's like Mark was just saying, it's like, okay, we established our incident process. Oh, and wow, it's actually the developers that's the root cause of all of our incidents.
Yeah.
It's like, we kind of knew that, but how do we make them accountable?
Developers, though. No, it's always someone writing the requirements, right? The developers should be protected.
It can be the simplest thing, though. I mean, like, people want to write a full knowledge article on.
We lost you, Mark.
Oh,
A full knowledge article on mobile.
that was gold right there too.
It was.
And
there you go. I see the forehead.
People want to write a knowledge article just to explain what one field means when they don't bother to think all we have to do is change the field description on the form to tell people what it means.
You are it's so funny you just said that. I actually use that very exact sample in my what knowledge management is and is not discussion. Knowledge management is not knowledge articles, and I use that very exact example. Right? It's like contextually aware knowledge when you need it.
Yeah,
exactly.
my favorite design flaws in enterprise applications are these two. Any button that says "Go to," it's actually fantastic, right? Obviously, it's going to take me somewhere. It's a portal on the internet, okay? And then my other favorite one is print, of course. And then a third one that I just thought of that I remembered from a company past, we had a button on our software where it always said, "Get help." It was fantastic. It was the best button in the world. It would pop open a screen with our phone number.
You know what I would love to see them do, Baron? I want to just have a save to, right? And then you can save to PDF, or you can save to printer. Or you can save to paper.
Save to paper. I love it.
Save to paper.
That's right.
That should have been called Box. Box should have been called Paper.
Yeah.
Should have called paper, yeah. You know, I started the stupid hashtag called SUX, stupid user experience, right? And it's as you see it all the time, you know, it amazes me, but you have to step back and think, who would think this is intuitive or a good idea? Like one of the ones was, and I love JetBlue. I'm a very loyal fan. However, in the JetBlue app, you cannot use the character keyboard to type your redress number for your TSA pre-approval. It's only numbers. It gives you the number like you're going to dial it, and it's like that's only good if you're an international pre-approval. It doesn't help you with just the redress number, which has letters. Goodness. So I literally have to go to, every time I have to go to Evernote. Yeah, I got to go to Evernote. I got to cut and paste it into my memory. And then I have to go back to the app and I have to paste it, which it will allow the character. It just doesn't give me the keyboard.
Or like
that's crazy.
Or like, you know, why do developers have to create a click here to print link which brings up a different view? I mean, it's just more work. Just create a form that's printable and clean.
Well, because all of us are driven by money, and they don't want you to be able to have a printable view without their advertisements on it. I mean, they want, you know, it's the same reason that IT wants to own everything. They want to see you. They want to see you seeing things so that they can measure it and then make money off of it. Like, ideally, that should be the goal of Word. How many people have read this word in this Word document?
Right.
Specifically.
Yes.
And what were their like emotions while they were feeling it? I think PDF gets way closer to this than Word does. And I don't know if you've been using it, Office 365 online. Have you guys been using it at all?
No.
Yeah, I have.
I can't get enough of it now. Like the feature set totally sucks. It's the worst feature set ever. The only feature that sells it is that it's not on my computer. I can collaborate live with, and it's like Google Docs, right? Those are the only two features that matter.
Is it as good as Google Docs or better than Google Docs?
No, it's infinitely further away. It's like it's caveman style Google Docs, but it still is Office, and so it's easier to get cultures to change around it than it is to get into Google.
So yeah, they're leveraging that because you can open docs in the view of Office itself or Outlook or whatever without leaving. So that's the selling point right there.
And you can go file share to OneDrive and then it's in OneDrive and you can open it online.
Brutal. It's a failure.
Oh, it's a total failure. It's like it's a massive failure on a massive scale. However, everyone's got a Microsoft license. It's the easy button, and that's why I can't get enough of it. That's why I keep using it for absolutely everything because.
So we have we use Office 365, and I've gone rogue and started using Google, and I've given because I'm going to reason. And I put in my presentation, like, well, part of our threats here at ISM is enforcing standards and policies, and Matt as a leader is enforcing the standard policies. So, okay, well, that's fine, but I don't need an IT department. I need enablement. Mm-hmm. So if the technology, which OneDrive doesn't work on my Mac, it's going to in February. Well, that's great. It's January, dude. That's not helping me today. So it's just like, how do we get past that mindset of the technology mattering, because it really doesn't matter. Mattering.
Hey, we should fix this live, though. What do you mean OneDrive doesn't work on your computer? What do you mean?
For Mac.
I've got it on my Mac.
On Finder?
It's a sync. It's just a sync client.
No, I don't want to sync. Oh, yeah, I want, like, in Google Drive, it sit in my bar and automatically sync my folders in the background.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, I'll send you a link to it. It does exist. I'm not kidding. But then also, if you are on a Mac and you work with data, which I think is a lot of people these days, you should definitely check out this piece of software called GoodSync. It's free, all one word. It syncs with everything. It'll sync your Drive to your OneDrive. It'll sync Dropbox to your computer. It does everything.
GoodSync.
And it's fantastic. It's very low traffic. You can set priorities. You can exclude folders. You can exclude file types. It is the Swiss Army knife of synchronization.
I had hoped that Alfred would have stepped up to the table and given me some of that workflow, and they didn't. The only thing I use Alfred now is to hit my command spacebar to lock my screen.
Get off of it. Don't use Alfred anymore. Seriously, the Apple Space in Yosemite is so good. It is so much better than Alfred. It searches everything. It searches the web. It searches the App Store. It searches your mail.
Apple Space. Okay.
Have you guys ever been to a user experience lab?
No, we have experts for that. I don't have to.
I had the opportunity to go to Fidelity's, and
nice.
it was an awesome experience. They had the robots that were going to go around the office as like the virtual presence. One of the things that they had is they had on their software development screen for their traders is eye recognition that was watching the retina and knowing where on the screen were the heat maps. So when someone paused their mouse button to not know where they were going, where did their eyes look first? And that's where they would move the button.
That's awesome.
So if 90% of the people would look to the upper right-hand corner to think that that's where the button should be, and the button was in the lower right-hand corner, they would move the button.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you don't want to know how many clicks you're getting. You want to know how many almost but never made it clicks you're getting, right?
Yeah, that's true. You can do A/B style testing in WordPress. There's a couple blog posts out there about it, about how you basically.
Is that my marketing metric, the ACTR, almost click-through rate?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You guys said earlier, marketing. Hey, Farah.
Hey, Farah.
Hi. You said earlier about the click here thing. There's a website called marketingexperiments.com, and if you guys haven't checked this out, you definitely have to do that. They have all these case studies of where people look on the screen and do they see the call to action and all this kind of stuff, and they hammer the click here. Whereas if you just change that to get now or something really funny, it gets such a higher see what happens. It's like Google's I'm feeling lucky, right?
Yeah.
You get such a higher click-through rate. It's not
the term that they use industry-wide is clickbait, Mr. Hooper.
Clickbait. Oh, thank you, Baron.
You've seen it, those advertisements. Oh, I'm embarrassed to say that I've read those advertisements.
Yes.
Top 10 reasons you're going to die in 5 minutes.
Oh boy. I just keep trying to get the abs that they have on those ads.
So I want to go back. So there's a tool for that too. It's called Privacy Badger by the Electronic Frontier Foundation. Absolutely fantastic. Definitely check it out. It removes a lot of advertising and cookies and privacy issues. But I think it only works for Chrome and Tor maybe. So for at the beginning of today's episode, we talked about resolutions. What is your 2015 goal, resolution, whatever have you?
Oh, good gosh.
To balance motherhood.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's a big one. So definitely
Awesome.
motherhood. So
awesome photo on Facebook. So did you guys see Farrar's big
Absolutely
photo?
fantastic.
Says she's got a shirt that says "loading" on it. It's got a picture of the circle that's loading.
No, there was another one too, though, right?
yeah, there's I did a whole nerd thing. It was HTML. There was one with loading. It was just, yeah, we had fun.
Oh, that was great.
There was a recent one. It looked like you were on Game of Thrones or something with a big flowing dress and. This
Yeah, I did. So yeah, so the whole maternity concept is so interesting now. So, and it's interesting because we wanted to have fun, and I wanted to kind of show the side of me that's kind of, it defines who I am, right? In the whole IT space. And
Are you nerdy?
just a little, maybe. And then there's this more formal thing, and I think it should be celebrated. So we just had fun and just did this lovely flowy gown, and went and did some crazy shots, and it was cool. It was really, really neat experience.
I think it's awesome. Way to go.
It's so funny when I've got 4 children, and I think back with my first one with my wife, we would have this big baby bag, and it had all these diapers and several things with formula. It's like a massive bag, right? And then by the 4th one, it was 1 diaper, 1 wet wipe in a Ziploc,
You
right?
leave out.
Stuffed in her pocketbook, right, with a pacifier. And if you think about that for a second and apply that to ITSM, the first time someone does ITSM, it's this huge monster of we need incident, config, change, release. It's everything, right? But then it's you've gone down your 4th or 5th or 50th ITSM project. You're yeah, you don't need that. No, you actually don't need classification tabs. No, we don't need drop-down lists over here.
It's so true. Well.
Right?
It's so funny. So it's leaning out. They give you all these lists, and there's this information overload of apps and stuff like that. And I'm as long as she has somewhere to sleep and I can change her and I can feed her, it's all good.
Yeah, kids are very resilient. Yeah, by the second one, we weren't washing the pacifier when it fell on the ground.
No.
I mean, if there was hair on it, we would. But
No, it was
the first one, you're
stick it in your own mouth. It goes in your mouth to wash it off. That cleansed it, and you stick that.
So your first ITSM project, you probably spend too much money on, and you probably try to get too much done with them.
It was waste.
But
I'm glad that you
they
were
are
able.
having fun. So today, the Sleep Number folks, they were at the Las Vegas CES show. They've revealed a sleep it was a sleep bed for kids where they do analytics on patterns. So they can tell the temperature, you can adjust, and if they've woken up, it'll notify you on your app. And you can if they're snoring or having trouble breathing, you can increase the mattress angle. I mean, it's all this hardcore stuff. All the way through to when they're 10 years old, they allow the kid to manage their own analytics on their sleep cycle. So if they've gone to the gym or had bad foods or too much sugar or whatever, then the kid can make responsible choices. That was kind of cool.
Wait, why do you have to be 10 to manage your own sleeping?
I don't know. That's why. So I wanted to kind of analyze that.
You're not old enough to understand your sleeping, kid.
Yes.
Why 10? That's the first thing
I also saw a onesie that it will send you a push notification if your baby flips over to the other side to prevent SIDS and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I think that's not that that's more exciting than having the kid, but it's so cool because I've been so engrossed in all these what are these cool apps and analytics and things that you can do.
Having my bed wired though, it just reeks hacking. It's bad enough my son's got his Samsung phone with the IR card in it, and he hacks the televisions around it. I don't want my bed folding up on me at night. The North Koreans are going to attack me, or the FBI, whoever's really responsible for all that stuff. So you guys have seen the interviews all over Apple TV and whatever else, right?
Mm-hmm.
I actually watched it.
Did you? So I joked and said, "Hey, do you guys want to watch the interview?" And my wife goes, "No, the North Koreans will know that we watched that, and they'll attack our home." I said, "Babe, I don't think it works that way, and I'm not really sure it's exactly them, but."
See, and that's where the PR scheme fell through. They didn't realize that they were going to be purveyors of terror.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! But if the North Koreans are upset over that movie, they've got bigger fish to fry. Lord.
Yeah, I've got some unique vision on privacy law. The thing is who was it? Aaron, that the kid in San Francisco who invented RSS and took his own life, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Schwartz. His death was commemorated again in the second year of his death or something like that. And he said famously in this video or this movie that they're making about him, he said, if the internet had existed when the Constitution was written, they would have put in ISPs instead of post offices. That just opened my mind to like privacy and like how keeping it privatized and keeping ISP privatized is really quite scary. You know that they can actually spy on your VPN traffic. They can see your VPN traffic if they so choose.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Which is really interesting to me because so often I've thought that companies used VPN for security. So that's unfortunate. So Faraz's husband is asking her questions right now.
The dog just ran in and he's like, "Oh, that's funny."
Look at mine. Can you see him actually?
He's dead to the. That's so cute.
Oh. All right. So any other news?
No, we got.
Oh, I was gonna say, did you guys read? I think it was Stuart's little blog post on New Year's resolutions from an ITSM perspective. I love Stuart, but really, it's again, there's just nothing new anymore.
Hooper was kind of getting into this before. I liked where you were going with objectives, that it's silly to set objectives at the beginning of the year because we should be setting those objectives every day, right? They should have contextual awareness, like you said. It's interesting that we always do focus on it. I wonder if that's like a cyclical thing or we need a system to measure it, and
Yeah.
it's to just Excel. And I think that's what you were trying to get at, Hooper, is that there should be a custom app to track this stuff along its life cycle.
Without better organization to manage digitally, we just look for calendar markers. That's all we got,
Yeah, the tech of goal setting and reaching is pretty terrible. I guess you could leverage Trello pretty easily for it, though.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's what I end up doing. I think what's hard for me is there's the minutia, there's the to-do list, and then there's the big goals, and like connecting those two is what's tough for me. Maybe I should have a project plan that has a sub-project plan.
So I started playing with the new drag and drop kind of Kanban wall in ServiceNow. That's what I'm thinking of using because it's a record, right?
Hey,
so at least I can use
you have to pay $300 per user per month now.
What?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, we'll see where it goes.
I'm interested.
I love that board. It's replaced all my stickies around my monitor.
Yeah. It's just I hate doing things twice. So I want to do it once, and it's object oriented, right? So I can have things call it and call into it, and and that's the problem with objectives. It's like, how does this objective affect these activities or not?
Well, there's a lot of apps that are geared towards objectives and goals as well. I think there's one called Lift, and you can pick kind of common goals that a lot of people share, and everybody supports each other in the process through kind of a social aspect. It's nice. I mean, there's
Kickstarter.
What?
Kickstarter? I mean, that's what it sounds like.
Well, it's kind of in thinking like MyFitnessPal, right? So here's what my challenge is that you've got this group social thing, but it just dies out after a while. I mean, to stay current, to keep relevant, it's a challenge.
Are you gonna go all John Carter on us? I feel John Carter coming out of you right now. I feel 7 or 8 rules of change is coming out of you. Effective organizational change management coming out. Don't hold back.
But it's actually true. It's very. I'm struggling with this personally. Is we come across the same challenges, the same problems. We set goals. We build momentum for a week or 2 or 10 or whatever, and then it falls back down. It's like you constantly need a new method of,
reminding yourself.
Right, right.
Yeah, and I think that is the goal of enterprise resource management. I mean, ERP is to be in line with everything, so that in order to get your paycheck or that message from your boss or whatever, you have to be in this system that also doles out work to you and keeps you focused.
It's systems thinking.
Systems thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother tweeted this week that he installed a time tracking app that, just tracks whatever you're doing on the web or whatever to see. He was complaining that he wasn't reaching any of his objectives, and he said it was mind-opening because he just didn't realize where he was spending his time. And I think that's sort of the holy grail of time management, to-do management, and goal or objective reaching objectives.
Could you say that it has to do with stickiness as well, like the stickiness of your own?
It's discipline.
Yeah, I mean, look at Clout changed the way it does things, and it seems to have gone by the wayside now. I don't know how Foursquare is doing since they changed things up a lot, but I mean, one small change in how it's perceived, and you can lose it pretty easily.
Can I tell you the only reason I check in on Swarm anymore? It's just to remind me where I went.
I was gonna say that's exactly what I use it for. And then when I'm in the same city again, I'm like, where did I go last time? I really enjoyed the.
Yes.
That's all I use it for.
There's a great bar in the Charlotte airport that serves one of the best Bloody Marys. It's got a really, they put olives and peppers and kind of craziness all over the top of it, and a nice spice around the rim. So I had one about a year ago, and I couldn't remember where it was. I went to Swarm. I said, "Oh, here, this is the one." Right? Found the picture, found it. That's all it is.
I do that through Moves and then porting my Moves data into Evernote. So I search Evernote that way.
There are some open source ones too. I think it's OpenSteps or OpenWalk. Chris turned me onto a couple of them where it literally just tracks where you go all the time. You don't have to check into places. That's what sold it to me, is that I don't physically have to do anything.
Yeah, that's how Moves is for me, except sometimes you have to go back and fine-tune it. It may not get exactly where you were, so you click on it and then tell it where you were.
That might be too much data for me.
Well, you know how I find it handy is exact times. I mean, I know it makes me sound crazy, but sometimes I wonder, what time did I eat lunch? And I'll go into Moves and see I stepped into that restaurant at 12:41. So.
Yes, Mark. Yes. It makes you sound crazy.
That's awesome. I love that idea. Rachel's always asking me, she goes, what time exactly was it when such and such happened? I never remember. I don't look at the... I'm always telling my 6-year-old, who I've mentioned 4 times in this episode, don't live by the clock. It's not worth it. Someone else invented time. Don't make the world about it.
If it took me 15 minutes to get that data, I would say I'm crazy. But when it takes literally 20 seconds to get that data, it's not that big a deal.
And that's part of the stickiness. How fast is it for you to get to that data? How much do you want to get to that data? Because if you personally don't want to see the data, you're never going to check your objective list, you're never going to check your task list, and you're never going to get anything done in 2015.
That's how you hack business technology.
And then I'm supposed to do a shout out to Adam Mason at the end. Anyway, thanks
every time.
It's been a great episode.
No more shout outs to Adam Mason until he goes back and watches episode 1.
There you go. Watch episode 1.
Oh, number 100.
That's a great goal for him.
All right. Have a good week, guys. See you next time.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.